3.
Yeah, we're live. You said you're going to do your Coomer moment.
Oh, no, I meant talk about faggot in the theater.
Okay. I have it on text on screen that says that, yeah, I'm on call with Angus because the internet sucks. So I can only see my own thing, but they'll hear 2 voices. Yeah, so do you want to talk about the retard in your theater or in mine first?
Yeah, it was funny because like I saw this one guy on YouTube, Meat Canyon, did a review of Doctor Strange, and he talked about all these weird like various Wojak responses of people in the crowd, like this is how stupid people have gotten. We're like, oh, you know, and you know, besides Black Panther, where it was just black people and they're only there because black. No interest in the MCU. Clearly, they didn't even stay for the end credit scene. You know, so that shows you where their investment is. But yeah, besides like worthy moments like Infinity War, No Way Home, some of those like bam fan service or shocker moments. You know, Mjolnir coming to Captain America. I've never been to a movie where it was just like, oh, yeah. I never had those soy boy moments. Maybe because I'm in a Trump state. I don't know. But I had one yesterday in front of me. So, from what I could tell, almost everyone in the theater was like, I don't know, 15 to like 20. It's mostly girls. So they were there to, I guess, flick their bean at hot muscle Thor. I don't know. And right before the movie started, there's like 3 chunky dweebs come up and sit in the row in front of me. And I thought the one with like the bun was a girl, but it sounded like a guy reacting. I don't know if I misplaced the location of the 3, but one of them, like when Thor threw off his robe to like help the Guardians with the owl people, he went like, oh, and it was like, what? Like, this is from the trailer, and you're like creaming your pants at it. It's like 5 minutes into the movie. Yeah. Strangely, there was no reaction for any actual cool shit, or like Mjolnir like splintering and then forming back, or Gore doing shit. Nothing. It was just that, and it's like, what? What is this? What is wrong with people?
I don't think their brain knows how to detect like a oh yeah moment anymore. It's just I don't know. It's derp, pretty much. The guy I couldn't tell you because the guy next to me in my fucking theater. Like I said, he wore flip-flops, shorts, wife beater, eating the entire movie, just, rapper noises and crunching stuff. The whole fucking movie. I'm like, how much food did this asshole buy? And is constantly, he's not eating like one piece at a time either. He's shoveling it in his mouth with his palm, like the whole time. And when there's any type of joke, he's, and then sometimes on some of them, he's like, like just the you can't breathe kind of laughter, like when Chris Pratt says goodbye to Thor and whatever, he's like just like so into that. I'm just like, dude, like this is barely comedy. Like
this is your brain on Marvel.
Man, you're in a place I can never hope to be at. That is so wow. Ugh. And most people in my theater, the average amount of people in the theater were giving normal reactions, but they were laughing at most of the jokes here and there, little chuckles. But the guy next to me was just overblown with. I'm fucking loving all of it, like knee slappers, and I'm like, God, this is so dumb.
It's funny because it reminds me of like the sarcastic like satire of the Nerd Crew by Red Letter Media, and just this growing sentiment that I've always been against, but now it's like, okay, I'm even on board. I kind of like, it's essentially like Disney Kids versus Warner Brothers, Universal, Nickelodeon, all the other like safe sanitary entertainment. Like Disney's always going to pass the bar, and the other ones are like, oh, they're a little too edgy. We need to edit that to even safer and it's like this is where it's gone 20 years later with adults. Those kids are now adults, and it's like I like a lot of these characters, But yeah, I'm getting fucking tired of like no consequence and it's safe. And it's just happy in the end, and you know, it's very Disney. You know, I don't like to be that person like, oh, Disney ruined everything, fuck them. But man, it's like, yeah, this is what happens when you own like 60% of blockbuster market. You don't have any like. There's nothing. The only thing that hurts you is your own movies.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I feel like this one, you know, it tried to take, if there's any drama or like stakes at all, it's just like hidden under jokes. That like it's right there. Like the jokes are wearing drama for a moment to rip off, and that's it. And characters, you know, whatever, just do things that they probably wouldn't do. But here we go, huh? Funny, right? Funny. No. I don't know, man. I got a lot with this one. It's not like I'm angry, but I'm so disappointed that I'm like, this was like, you know, if you wanted to get me back into, hey, you know, maybe check out more of these movies. This is like a definite, I don't want to check out any more of these movies kind of movie. Like, nope, pretty much done. It started with Doctor Strange 2 being like, okay, wow, this is where it is. Okay. This is like, I don't know if this is worse than that. But this one trying to make me laugh the whole time was not helping because it wasn't funny to me.
Yeah, for me, I put this in like Iron Man 2 category. It's not big stakes for the overarching plot of the series. You could argue forgettable, but it was just like, hey, let's make a fun comic movie. I think they went way overboard with trying to. Ragnarok was organic. Even if you don't like it, it's like it was fresh, and it was like kind of bold. And now it's like, oh, clearly a lot of people liked it. This is finally they have something to go off of with the general audiences for what to do with Thor, and it worked in Endgame as well, or you know, Infinity War and Endgame as well, carrying on. So they feel like they got something that's like proven. So now they're not taking risks now. Now they got like, okay, good response. Just keep doing that.
Yeah, keep on. Make sure you find good rock music to play with Thor as well, and then you'll be totally set.
Yeah, yeah. They found something that has resonated, so now that's all they're going to do. You know, they're making these one-dimensional decisions now, and that's irritating because. Sure, the comedy undercut a lot of emotional moments in Ragnarok, but it felt fresh. It felt genuine with like taking a risk with like an out of nowhere director, and it worked for me and for a lot of people. And like I said, they carry that thread through to some degree in the other films. And now it's like they're banking on it. They like, oh, we know what we're doing now, and they're not taking any risks now with Thor. And yeah, if you hate dark worlds, like
I kind of miss Dark World at this point.
I mean, I already like Dark World for all of the Thor Asgard shit. That's the problem for me with Thor has been people shit, Earth stuff. So when you like Ragnarok was just in space, the only person was Hulk, so he's already a super, you know, and so it didn't feel like let's.
It's nice. So it's nice when an issue isn't settled on Earth for once in this fucking universe.
Or just stupid Earth people are so important to the plot, and it's like, why?
There's other things in the galaxy. Can we focus on those?
Stupid, mentally ill, naked scientists at Stonehenge. This is awful.
Yeah. I want to rewatch Thor: Dark World because I haven't seen that since it was in theaters, and I don't know. Everybody always says it's one of the worst, but based on the ones they've made now, that might have bumped out of any of the worst categories. I don't know. It might be somewhere else with that. But no, I mean, starting at the beginning with this one, so it starts with like this dude's walking in the desert. He's got a daughter with him, and they're dying of thirst, and daughter dies. And you know that I was like, okay, you kind of have me a little bit, and then he just sort of randomly wanders into a forest, or was there a voice? Or was there a voice calling him?
I think he just stumbled into it from his wandering. He found an oasis.
Yeah, he like found it and was like, okay, sweet, and the water, and starts eating food, and oh, it's the food of the god that he praises, who doesn't care about him. He's like, oh, look at this little pleb, and I was like, okay, you have something here. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I just killed this guy that's been killing gods that has a nice sword. This is the first time we're mentioning this in the entire series of Marvel. And I'm kind of, it's one of those things where I'm like, could this is not a, was there nothing set up where you could have something like, no, it's like just fully new thing here. It's kind of annoying already. And so, and that it's convenient and it's okay. And then it's not like he picks up the sword or stumbled upon it first or no, like, you know, like carried it with him for a bit. And nope, it's just, oh, well, you're choking me and the sword teleports to my hand and now I kill you. Just like, okay, how am I supposed to be like, whoa, that's badass? It's like, no, it's just kind of dumb. So the sword chooses him. This could have been an interesting type of thing in the movie, but they don't touch on this with like the weapons having like a weird consciousness level or something, or some type of uniqueness to the weapon to choose its holder. No, it's just kind of like that's a total afterthought. Just like not even a thing. It's a plot moving forward thing, but they don't like ever really address it. So.
Yeah. So to add to that, why it's really bad how they did that was the Necro Sword is actually something that Donny Cates built on for his recent run of Venom. I don't know all the workings, but the god or evil god, Venom god Newell, is like coming to fuck shit up, and he's tied with the Necro Sword. So the Necro Sword is like got big implications with the comics and with Marvel and Sony finally working together to some extent. It could be some sort of Venom storytelling tool, Spider-Verse, whatever. And there's like, this is a problem now. Like, I get that like telling your own individual stories, but like there feels to be like no. It's like they're writing phase 1 stories in phase 4, where it's like there should be way more awareness and interconnectedness.
Like by the time we get here, we should be a little like not as surprised that it exists or something. Just like, you know, or if they say how it happened, it makes sense because of something else that has happened before. Like after the Infinity Stones were used, the Necro, something that connects to something else that wasn't just, well, it's here now and it's always been here as well. Oh,
yeah.
Like my thoughts are like, you know, what if they could somehow tie it to like the end of Asgard, the planet, and like with Zerter and Hela or something? Like, you know, it'd be kind of weird, but you know, based on a lot of this shit, it's fucking weird anyway. Like if a evil sword somehow became out of it, these two godly, extremely powerful things that are, like battled each other and planet exploded, whatever. Fucking, I don't know, fused energy into a sword that has the ability to kill gods. That at least be some type of connection with Thor, connection with killing gods in general, because Zerter or something.
Yeah, I mean the sentiment is about right with Gore. He suffered, you know, he has this very kind of age-old human story of like, oh, the gods forsook me, kind of like Job or something.
I liked where that could have gone.
And he gets the chance to take matters in his own hands and kind of serve revenge on all the gods. You know, he's essentially going to liberate everyone from these, you know, gods that care nothing about those that suffer for them.
I wish that they could have actually focused, like, even if this was a full 10 minutes or 15 minutes, even like showing him with his people and they're trying to survive and struggling and just no help from the gods at all. And, or the only help they like give over their useful things to praise the god, but it just doesn't help at all. Nothing in return. And then you get to this point with his daughter and he's the only one left. And then it's like, yeah, instead of him just saying, yeah, my people are all dead and stuff, and that sucks, and my daughter's dead now, it's like we would have seen it, you know. And then he'd be like, yeah, I was watching, pretty fun, huh? It's just like, fucking asshole, you know, because we would have seen it and I would have felt more for this. And then when we get back to Thor, it's like, okay, you could see a contrast a little, or something, you can see something here. Again, this felt so separate to Thor. It's just that he's a god is why it's connected at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the story in the comics. The comics are really good, actually. I haven't finished it, but I want to say there's a little more depth. I think, like, maybe the god, or maybe there's like a fight between gods or something. One of them has a Necro Sword, and I think they want help or something, and he, like, ends up taking the sword and killing them. It's like some sort of coincidence that they, like, drops there, or he drops there, but it's a little more depth to it, and he kind of figures shit out, and so he's, like, going throughout the universe, killing all these gods, and he comes across Thor in, like, let's say Viking Age, and they have like a big tussle. But Gore realized, like, okay, you actually care about people, I'm going to save you for last. You got a certain heart to you that the other gods don't. And so he's like the little cherry on top. He's saving for himself. And they slightly hinted at in the movie here or there where he gets an inkling like, oh, you're better than the rest.
I didn't really get that inkling at all. He just seemed to treat him like, I don't like you still. You're a god.
Even though go way ahead, in like the middle with when he traps him on the Shadow Realm moon thing, in that trap, and he's threatening to kill Jane if he doesn't call the hammer. There's like to me knowing that story, and I'm like piecing it together, like, oh, this is the moment they're trying to like subtly tell you that or something. Cause he's kind of like backing off Thor, but
he says one line that's like, you and I have that in common, and then Valkyrie's like, nuh-uh, and that's like that was the only bit really that I got. I was like, okay, yeah. The only thing being in common is that the other gods suck. That's pretty much the point. So even, that's just all that was to me.
I thought they got his creepy factor awesome, especially without doing the like kind of like Voldemort Twi'lek look that Gore has in comics. Which I don't know why they wouldn't use the Lecu at least on his head, but yeah, I thought for just making him like a kind of scraggly human, I thought they did enough effects with him, especially his eyes, to give him some imposition. Make him a bit of a threat visually. He had some menace. I liked it.
Yeah, a little bit. But then we cut to Thor, but it's not really Thor. We're cutting to Korg talking to people, narrating about Thor. I fucking hate Korg. I find him extremely unfunny. I hate him visually. I hate his voice. I don't like him.
I'm gonna have to learn how to impersonate Korg so I can just do that every stream.
There's just nothing about his character or his personality or his voice or anything, his presence, that I'm like, you know what? I can like this guy. No.
He didn't like the Revolution, but he didn't print out enough pamphlets.
I don't remember that part.
He's got a very boomer attitude too. He's got a very just like happy-go-lucky, even in like the worst of circumstances. I kind of like that about Korg.
Yeah, I guess, but
he's very aloof. He's very aloof, despite being in these like big stake stories, and that's funny.
I guess it's just he's narrating the story, and he's like, oh yeah, he was fat and shit, and then people died, and nobody cares, treating it like it's nothing really. Yeah, all these people that he cared about, totally a joke. That's what I hated about Ragnarok, was that like all this stuff is treated as a joke with Korg around, and I'm just like, fucking hell, just shut the fuck up. Like, it's worse than like a Deadpool type of thing, like Deadpool at least usually is like makes enough sense or is funny. This is just like, I'm gonna comment whenever I can, and it's not even funny. Oops, your planet's destroyed. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. This person died. That one died. Your brother died 20 times. I'm just like,
he's like, oh, don't worry. It's like we can't rebuild it. This like shatters into Stardust. Like, oh, wow, maybe not. Maybe, yeah, you gotta look here, buddy. It's like,
I don't know. It's just I'm talking about his narration. I hated his narration. Just, yeah, we're gonna talk about all these things and then skip over it. And now Thor's in shape, and now he's a hippie kind of, and then he's with the Guardians, but he's kind of like Superman in that sense, where do you really need a team at all for anything? Just kind of downplays the Guardians entirely. Like, oh, we're gonna die without you, Thor. I don't know. It seemed like the whole, the play that they do, the whole movie feels like that. Just a play that they think is funny. And it's kind of like, Melissa McCarthy funny, huh? Yeah.
Nah, I didn't think so. I thought the play gag was funny.
Well, no, my point is that I think that the whole movie is like that, but also not funny.
Nah, I don't.
Because like the whole thing with the Guardians in the beginning too, it's just like, yeah, okay, you're all just gonna die, right? Okay, all agency away.
First 20 minutes, third of the movie felt very disjointed, and it's like, where are we going with this? Like, what are the stakes? Does anything matter?
It's like every time he tries to do a character building moment or something serious, it's just jokey, joke, and all unfunny. And then little owl people. Okay, yeah, okay, whatever. And then, well, what do we cut to Jane and her cancer after that?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to care about her character in some way, shape, or form, but there's been so little to her. I'm just like, she exists. That sucks.
That's what was annoying to me, because throughout the movie, essentially, this is the contradiction too. It's like she figures out, like, oh, Mjolnir will save me, and you find out later why she's able to become a Thor is because Thor with Mjolnir has some sort of relationship with Mjolnir, and he's living good life, dating Jane, they're having fun being a couple that we didn't really ever see in the first two films, besides like when they're talking about science and magic, there's like a little bit of chemistry there. But
yeah, that would have been the starting point, and then it gets nowhere from there.
Yeah, and you find out Thor kind of imbued this demand or whatever of Mjolnir's, like, protect Jane. And so that's why when she comes to see Mjolnir thinking, oh, how could I use this to save myself? Boom, she's got Mjolnir and she's a Thor. But this is the thing of the whole movie. It turns out Mjolnir is like sucking the life out of her by being Thor. So it's like, what?
Which in a way that makes more sense to me. In a way that it's like, yeah, like a mortal can't just wield Thor wield Mjolnir and be totally okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about that angle, that she's immortal. Well, okay, that's the thing though. Is that her being mortal? I figured if Mjolnir's like receiving her calling or whatever, that she is worthy to wield it, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, he says that she's worthy, but but it also does the charm that just goes with her anyway. So
yeah, sure, but still to wield it, you would think it wouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
You think it wouldn't kill you? You think it wouldn't kill you to use it?
It shouldn't be like the Infinity Stone, the Stark, where it's like, oh, you're just immortal. You have no business. Like, this kills you if you touch it, which is what we've seen throughout the films. Jane's in danger.
Yeah.
The girl.
It would seem like the weapon can be wielded by people that are worthy. Like, let's say if Rocket was worthy, he could lift it and it won't kill him. Like that would be.
Steve Rogers is immortal.
Yeah, but he's also super soldier and only wielded it a little bit. And he also didn't have cancer and wasn't dying at the time.
No, the super soldier is just essentially steroids. It has nothing to do with his he has an extended.
Well, it literally changed his body to grow and be. It changed his anatomy essentially.
It changed his anatomy, not any intrinsic like God being effect.
Well, no, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying she had cancer, and he was saying, like, in the movie, he says, like, because you're using Thor or using Mjolnir and whatever, like it's preventing your mortal body to heal properly.
Yeah, I think that's
with your thing. And the way their wording just makes it cripple on itself. Essentially, the more stuff they add with it, made it worse.
Yeah, I think if she can wield the fucking God hammer, that it should be like, oh, because she goes to Valhalla. Spoiler: she goes to Valhalla. She's a god.
It also made no sense to me, really, how she goes there.
It's fine. She wielded it and she sacrificed herself in battle.
Well, I mean, she's not a Viking or an Asgardian. That's supposed to be Viking heaven or hell or whatever.
But Mjolnir found her worthy. She's a god. Died in battle. She's a god. And I'm fine with it. Even if the whole core is like woke feminist writing, I'm just taking the plot points and it's like, okay, it makes sense. Makes sense in this context. Okay. It's like, well, you weren't born a Jew, but you could convert.
I don't know. I guess I was also kind of annoyed how they mentioned Valhalla often throughout the movie, and I'm like, you guys have almost never like mentioned anything about your history that we take from at all. Like in the movies, it's like, their Vikingness is almost entirely gone.
Oh wait, no, I actually like that intro with Korg where he's talking about all of his trials and people that fell along the wayside, like, oh, like her and whoever this guy is, who's that guy?
No, that's fine. That was something that had happened. But what I'm saying is that in the movie, throughout the movie, they're like mentioning Valhalla all the time, and I'm like, yeah, but like you guys have like totally disconnected from what your culture was. So why did it just seemed like that Like nobody cared about that for many movies, and now they're like mentioning Valhalla suddenly, and it just seemed out of place with where they are. And would have been nice if they had some of that around, and then maybe I would have. It's because at this point it just seemed distracting to me. I was just like, why do you care? Like nothing you guys do shows that you care about that anymore. So,
well, maybe this is them trying to rebuild their culture. They've ignored or took for granted. Now it's decimated. Now they got to rebuild it.
They made infinity cones. I don't think they give a fuck about their old culture.
Oh, I thought that was a funny little gag. It's like, yeah, no, definitely someone would figure out that meme and use it to get seen on the internet to sell ice cream.
This is the problem I have. This is like one of the biggest things, though. It's like funny joke, but like I have nothing they do is serious ever. So it's like then they say it's serious or something, and I'm like, I don't believe you because you're just gonna make a stupid play about it. It's just I don't know. It just. Okay, I don't know. They'll still say it's serious, but it's not taken seriously. Oh shit! I didn't die in battle. Oh shit! Yeah.
I feel like this would probably be something pretty common in like Greek and like medieval life, of like going to plays and it's like a comedic summary of bigger epic things. You know, like people try different angles. Sometimes the shit gets stale.
I mean, I guess again, my thing isn't the play itself. My thing is in the movie itself. It is acting like the play, like Sif. Oh shit! I didn't die in the battle. My arm might be. He's like, your arm might be in there. It's just like it was just like, yeah. So okay, like
I don't know, man. People can be a lot more jokey when it's serious. Like, oh, you're shot. Oh god, I hope it. Oh, let me say death stuff, and it's like, hey, you're gonna be fine, buddy. Hey, we're gonna get T-bones.
I feel like there's a huge difference between like again, if you watch Avengers, even he is mostly serious throughout the film, but funny things are said without it being like, oh, your arm's probably in Valhalla, like from Thor. It's just like, no, he's he can be jokey, but he's not like just like I'm clown jokes. It's funny. I don't know. That's how these come off to me now.
I thought it was a little clever timing joke. Especially, I don't know. I feel like some of the nitpicks of comedy are like the Snyder cut retards that are like, oh, Thor got electrocuted. That's so stupid. Total movie sucks because of a joke that's the joke. He's the god of thunder and lightning, so you wouldn't think that'd be a problem, but.
I don't know, because it's like my thing is just kind of like you see these characters, like I don't know. To me, it just the more they try to be funny, though, I just find it less funny. Like when the comedy happens a little more naturally with the characters, maybe that'd be something. But all of these all seem all forced. It's just here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, and more, and that's it's just not funny.
I think it's no, I definitely agree. This is definitely not funny like Ragnarok. There's a lot of funny attempts and they fall flat.
Yeah, there's more character things in Ragnarok, even though there's still some silly, stupid stuff. But I think there was more character behind the comedy with it. And like I said, I like to Avengers where it's like simple lines that aren't banger. They're not knee slappers at all. Like, he's like, he's my brother. He's of Asgard. Killed 80 people in 2 days. He's adopted. Like, okay, he's not entirely my brother. But he's not like going, well, he's not my brother or something. He's not, I don't know. He's not overly trying to be funny, you want me to put the hammer down? We good to go? Yeah. It's like, there's comedy there without it being so out of it. I miss that in a way. Or like, when he's drinking, when he's in Thor 1, when he's like drinking and he's at the diner, he's like, another, it's just like, he's thirsty. He'd like to drink another. Yes, that's all that was. There was like nothing more to that. That was very simple, funny. He's not a clown. And I don't know. Yeah, so the movie just goes on, and what happens now? And so he, I don't even know what happens next anymore. When he's done with the Guardians, then it goes. Yeah, he goes find Sif. He's done with the Guardians now.
What I was gonna say about Portman, Jane Foster, Thor, that I found annoying. They did the way they portray this is really weird because it's like, in the comics they retool the wording so it could be gender neutral. So she could be a Thor, and they didn't do that, and I like that they didn't do that in this movie, even though it's still an SJW creation. This is the thing they do when they want you to like these SJW characters. They don't perfectly adapt the comic. They fix the problems. Like, you can tell the difference in Captain Marvel with the Russo brothers versus Wokies making Captain Marvel. You can tell the difference between Miles Morales in the comics versus Spider-Verse movie. It's so much better. And I'd say the same with Jane to some degree, not as good, but so it's like, all right, she's not necessarily worthy. It's a charm or something imbued by Thor, and now it's reacting to save her. And for a minute, I thought they were going to do something where it's like some sort of like Gollum shit. It's my hammer. It's my precious. And it's like eating away at her or something. I thought they would do some sort of duality like that, and they didn't. It's like, oh, she's good as Thor, and she's a good cancer lady, and it's. I wish there was something there, or like it was like the need to keep her stable.
Could be a contrast of her intellect. Like the more she's Lady Thor, then the more she's barbaric and not as calculative or thinking about others as she would be as Jane.
No. I was hoping it would be like, because essentially she went there for Mjolnir, not knowing about the charm, just for like selfish, like, I don't want to die, which is understandable, but it's still like self-serving.
Yeah, it wasn't. It would have been something if she was just there visiting in general, whatever, trying to get away, and it's like, oh, they get attacked by the shadow things, and people are in danger, and then there you go. There's a moment where she's trying to help people, she doesn't have the strength to, and there you go. Mjolnir comes to the rescue.
That was something I was going to say. It's just like, we were talking to somebody yesterday about Valkyrie, where it's like, well, she's black and queer and a woman, so she's got a triple hat diversity oppression point. So they're never going to like, only reason she is King Valkyrie is because a white man let her have the role in Thor. He literally is like, I don't want it. You can have it. Like, she is. Not that she's not someone that has redeemed herself or come back to the fold of Asgard and serving her role, but she's still an underling, and it's only because a white man gave up the title that she has it. But they'll never do that like they do with Wong and Cumberbatch, where it's like, well, you're just technically Sorcerer Supreme because I was dead for 5 years.
Right.
They'll never butt heads like that because diversity, and so like Jane, they're not going to do that with her because of like, well, she's a shoehorn character, and so they never give her any bad qualities. It's the whole thing with Thor. It's like, oh, he's a valiant warrior, but he's headstrong and he rushes into battle without thinking. So he's got like checks and balances to his character, pros and cons. There's only pros with Jane, except physically she has cancer. And they could have used that where it's like Gollum, where it's not she's being like Hulk, but that, she becomes like Smeagol and Gollum, where it's like, it's my birthday, I want it. It's like, all right, it's time to not be Thor today. And it's like, no, it's my hammer, I want it. Something like that.
They could have had a little bit of comedy as well as relation to the villain in some way, shape, or form. Give her some type of development. There would have been something there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, that would be cool to have Gore like meddle with her mind, like, all you worked for, you even get this hammer and the gods won't save you. And she, oh yeah, you're right, let's kill all the gods. Like,
well, they kind of wanted to kill them before they even got to the place. They didn't even want to deal with them, it seems. And they're like, let's make heads roll before anything bad even happened or character stuff was revealed. It's like, okay, fuck. Shit. But so they have that. So Gore comes to Asgard, and he has shadow demon things, which I've heard other people say it would have been interesting if like the, sword like held like, Lovecraftian creature or something that has these beasts come out or something, like explaining all the tentacles that come out and whatnot. Like, would have been a little more interesting than just random creatures. Or I thought it would have been interesting if those were the like gods that he had killed, but they're like the nega version, I guess. Kind of a cliche thing, but
what?
You know, like the shadow version of the shadow version of the gods that they killed. So the first god that he killed, well, now it's a huge shadow version, and they went to that huge big beast thing that was killed. That's a huge shadow beast now that you got to fight. Maybe that would have been something. I don't know. I hated visually the fight scene at night with the shadow things because it's shadows at night, and then there's some bright lights, but it just and like I don't know, like nothing's on screen for more than a second in that fight, and I hate that. I'm just like, fuck, I can't focus on any of this. And then we're focusing on Thor, and he's just like wandering around. Oh, is that my hammer? Well, I don't know. And I don't know. I just thought maybe they could have had his discovery that that's her and the hammer's back in a different way. I don't know. The way they did it seemed kind of weird to me.
Yeah. Well, it didn't make sense to me. It's like, all right, she just got the hammer like a couple hours ago, and this happens, and then she's already there.
I think they played it like she's been doing that for months.
It felt like this whole movie took like maybe a week.
No, you're right, but I think that when she got the hammer to when he comes there and Gore's there, I think they're supposed to say that like 6 months passed for like her.
Really?
Because Valkyrie was not surprised at all. Because Valkyrie was like, "Oh, you'd be surprised," or something, and it's like as if she's been doing that for a while, and she is acting like she's doing it for a while.
I didn't take that to mean anything because Valkyrie is like boss bitch king queen, lesbo, whatever, like diversity galore queen. So she's got this bitch attitude. And the actress is a bitch, so like she's a horribly written character. She's not a character written like I'm so endeared to her.
Yeah, she is the kind of character in this film that I didn't have a problem with, but she didn't do anything for me either. I was like, you are a stagnant character. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing about her. It's like even if she went like Super Saiyan, it's like, oh, real shocking. Like when did she ever? Besides, the retards on Twitter will be like, oh, yeah, her girlfriend died. All the Valkyries are dead. She's the last one. And use that for her complete character struggle at any point in her story to justify any advancement where it's like, what? How does she do that? Like, that should not matter for getting to this point. But don't dip into that.
I guess that's one of my problems too, is that every single Thor film is like always there's this huge thing they gotta face, and then there's some little struggling along the way, and they gotta find a weapon or something to kill it. And I'm like, can you have like an actual like journey story for your characters here, like where we like advance the characters, spend time with each one of them, and build up the villain as well, and then maybe not even in this film they have their confrontation, something. Just that his villains seem to always get like defeated in the end of the movie. Loki, is the only one that like slips away, but there was always a different monster or bad guy to beat anyway, like Frost Giant or whatever. Like there's always something. Dark Elves, the Hela and Zerder, you know what I mean? Like they all get defeated in his movie. I guess it happens with most of the villains as well, but I feel like with Thor specifically, with him supposedly having all these journeys that he's going on, it's like, I don't know. It'd be nice if some of them weren't finished by the end, because at the end of each film he seems resolute, but then he isn't in the next film. It's just like, I don't know. Other characters don't always seem like they're resolute by the end. They may have won, but it's just the beginning. Well, that's how I feel.
Technically, there was no true resolution with Gore. He just literally left him to his own whims, and then through his actions convinced him to do something different. But he literally left it open where it's like Gore could just wreck the whole universe if he wants, but I'm not going to do anything because I'm going to love my girlfriend. It's like, what a simp.
Yeah. Yeah, Monkey Jeebus in the chat, he says Dragon Ball does that, and it was like on 20 years. Yeah, and it does that a lot, and I think that gets a little annoying as well that they do it. I like Dragon Ball, but I do get annoyed at a lot of things they do as well with that. It's just another reset every time. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm probably in the minority with this. Sometimes I think you can just end a franchise, like end a story, and be over, and then that would be nice.
No. That takes effort to make a new one, Ricky, versus if I just keep dipping in the well.
Nah, because I feel like things would last longer, like be more memorable if they did have an actual ending, like a finality to it. Like Marvel, for example, should have ended a while ago. Would be nice.
I don't think they should have ended, but now that they got virtually everything they wanted at their disposal, they should just do a hard reset and just start fresh.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, they aren't doing that. They're trying to tool and woke shit into the established lore and like trick you as a viewer, where you're gonna pay to see like 10, 20 movies before you like check out finally. Because like they actually had to reset. They'd have to do the groundwork like Paramount did and actually win people over organically. That's why they're not. That's why they didn't, reset. That's why they're doing multiverse and whatever to like tool in the new people like X-Men and Fantastic Four and Namor and shit.
Yeah. But so after their battle, they fight and whatever. Gore gets away, and he takes his guardian children with him, and it's like, all right, and so they're gone, and then they got to go get him back, but they don't know where to go. And
honestly, I wish Gore would have got his own movie.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of what I was saying earlier at the beginning. Like, I wish that we could have seen him and his like city suffer through whatever, and he just come across the sword in whatever way. And if it
across the universe and killing gods, and then like the cliffhanger as he crosses Thor, has a fight with Thor in the Viking Age, and then boom, cliffhanger for Thor 4.
Yeah, I mean, it would have even been interesting if like you see a character that you see that we like see as heroic, but it's like the Necro wielder or something, and it's not him, but it's like the guy he's gonna get it from essentially at some point, and it's like, killing a god's not just swinging your sword at him and whatever, and maybe it's like not even just I'm just killing gods randomly. Maybe the one prior to him was like trying to like judge gods, like, here, I'll give you all a test in some way. If you guys succeed and based on my morals, then I'll let you live. If you don't, then I'll fucking kill you or whatever. So it's like, send problems toward the gods and the people and see how they react and something like that. If they just stand by and don't do anything, or they fuck off, then you know what I mean. That'd be something. There's always something there. But what happens next after the battle at night and the kids get taken? I don't remember.
That was a little cool thing. They got Heimdall's got a kid, and so he has the sight, and so Thor can tap into that, and so he figures out he's in the Shadow Realm.
That's another thing. Actually, I wish there was more with the kid because he's just kind of here now. I was like, this would have been neat if this was at all hinted to in any way, shape, or form. Like, I didn't even know he had a kid or had a chick. He had a family.
Well, he probably held hands with the dad over the penis for a month, and then they just had it. Heimdall had him in his hand. I see a lot of people are triggered about that, even though that's apparently established in the lore of his species. That core, there's no females in the species, which isn't as strange as you think in science. I think there's like female only species that, clownfish are all males, and then one of them will sense the like hormones in the water and morph into a female.
Okay.
So there's fish and reptiles and I think like some bugs. They do shit like this. So the fact that people are getting triggered, making clickbait out of the most minor thing with side character who's not human, he's a rock guy. So like he's a rock alien. The fact that you're like trying to impose human sexual reproduction on a alien rock cartoon. It's like, all right, this is where like the MAGA side of things and like woke watch on, this is where it loses because you get so triggered about the dumbest shit versus like keeping focused on like the core message of like, all right, this is how you undo a people, is you destroy their stories and their lore, their heroes. When you start crying about tertiary characters not straight. I just roll my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Then. So yeah, Odin's kid or Heimdall's kid talks to them, and then they say, "Oh, you're in the shadow place. Cool. Let's go there." Oh, my axe is being jealous and dumb or something, and won't go anywhere. And so they take the ship thing, and the stupid fucking goats. I hate those fucking goats.
The goats would have been fine if it wasn't like every
Yeah,
time.
if it was just like with the Guardians, I think that'd be fine. That'd be funny if they left the goats with the Guardians. It's like, oh, dang it, or something. I don't know.
People like TikTok shit, and that's a famous viral meme with the goat going, ah!
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, the goats were really annoying to me, kind of dumb, but whatever. I guess oddly enough, I can get over them over other things in the movie. I could get over those easily enough because they don't last on the screen too long. And then yeah, we go to what was it? The
Shadow Realm?
No, we go to the Zeus place.
Oh, Omnipotent City.
That's such a dumb name for a city. Yeah, I guess it's nothing worse than other names they come up with sometimes. But you go to Omnipotent City. Any dialogue between Thor and Jane in this movie, I just thought was like uninteresting. Maybe they could have had some stuff. They're talking about what catchphrases she could do, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I feel like this would have been funnier if the Guardians were present with that. I don't know.
Oh God!
Because I'm just just between these two, I'm just bored. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, you say your things, and she's coming up with bad names and whatever. I'm like, I could imagine better reactions from Rocket or Drax or any of them.
Thor has got one-itis. He's been telephoning that to everyone since he came back into the MCU storyline. After Ultron.
Yeah.
I think even in Ultron, it was like, oh, my girlfriend. Ugh. So it's been a thing they've been doing for like 8 years. So it's like, yeah, you're not like wowing me. It's like, I feel good for like some sort of closure or like happy moment for Thor, given all the shit he's gone through.
I mean,
it's like, wow, this girl really didn't appreciate you. You've been like, it's like Invincible. It's like, oh, boo-hoo, you left me for this and that. It's like, yeah, I almost died. I have to go save the world because it's my responsibility to have powers. And you're just being fucking selfish.
Yeah, he also never mentions anything about like, Thanos, the blip, what he went through. Like, none of that's brought up. And it seems like she doesn't know about any of that. And that's also annoying to me. Like, and I guess that was annoying about a lot of the battles that they're in. They're like, oh no, this battle's so intense. I'm just like, do you guys not remember the most intense battle y'all had a little bit ago? Like with the whole universe kind of, whatever. Old news. Old news now. Thanos was only like low tier level apparently to owl people or something, That's the thing. Totally.
I wish there was more owl people. Those are wacky. I like them.
Yeah.
I love stupid bird faces like that.
Yeah, they go to the city and then he's like, "Oh, Zeus is awesome, bro." And then he's got like a dad bod, and he's like throwing around his lightning bolt, which to me, when I saw when it apparently became the plot of we need to get his lightning bolt, which I did not think that was going to be the point here. Like I thought it was going to be obvious that like Jane would be wielding that because thunder and lightning. Like to me, that was kind of obvious, but no. And which I mean would have been all right. I mean, they gave it to Valkyrie, so she has something that's interesting, I guess. But I don't know. It seemed kind of pointless to be to her. There wasn't much connection to them doing Thunder and Lightning other than his one time referencing that. Was there?
Yeah, I actually never even thought about that because that's like clever. But
I thought that would have been actually really unique with it. Like, it maybe even being like, Thunder and Lightning, like these are the most powerful gods essentially right here. And they're like toe to toe and whatever. And, who's stronger? Like that would have been an interesting, if they had a gladiator fight maybe with these two, like, have Thor and him fight. And like, these are the peak of the gods, but one has better morals and is more clever. I'd be okay with there being some comedy with the fight between them. Sure.
No, what's annoying is, you can't objectify women, sexist. But then they literally stripped Thor naked.
Oh yeah, when he said that he was about to do that to them, I was like, yeah, do that to them. Nice.
It's like, and then women faint because he's got such an amazing cock.
And a couple of the guys fainted too.
Yeah, which I thought was funny because like he's a Greek god. The Spartans are like the prime people of the Greeks. A lot of gay shit. Totally makes sense. And
yeah, that was something I was like funny in a surface way. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yep.
No, it's fine, but it's like, oh yeah, how many people are gonna be like, oh, this is so great, and then they're also gonna out of the other side of their mouth talk about objectifying women. And it's like, but also, and I complained about this after I saw it. I told you, it's like, yeah, of course, this is where you get MCU criticism on top of the objectification shit. Is, of course, they get Gladiator to be Zeus. Pretty clever casting, and they don't get him to do any fitness training or even put fucking like Shazam arms on him to look buffer. Really just like, yeah, dad bod Zeus, totally fine. Who gives a shit? And you're gonna be kind of an annoying Greek guy and kind of a wimp. You're like the supreme god that started all of this, but you're a fucking wimp.
Yeah. That's kind of annoying. It would have been, even if he had dad bod, it still would have been interesting if they showed him as masculine in any way. But they just kind of don't. It's kind of be silly again. Oh, he got the skirt. It's like, okay, yeah, all right. I don't know. The whole scene just felt longer than it needed to be too. The fight of it, I thought was lame. It's just, I don't know. Whenever they have fights with Thor now, it's like the bad guys are on screen for like less than a second and get killed immediately. And so like I'm not even like taking in anything that's happening other than you moved your arm and now they're dead. You did this and now they're dead. I'm just like, all right. Like,
yeah, I really hate that you can't even like take in and enjoy like the imagery for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Blow it up.
Yeah, it's like, can it ever even be like just a regular tussle? Would be nice. I want to see like the old Arnold Schwarzenegger battles and those movies were kind of dumb, but like they, seemed epic even though there wasn't a bunch going on. It's just like, oh no, can he win this, tussle match with this other bigger guy or something? It's like, this is just like, oh no, just slice them all away. And then Korg got hit and I was like, yes, kill that fucker. Yes. And then nope, still alive.
Well, I like Korg, but I thought that would have
been a good motivator, a good a loss of character. You're right. That would have been a good use of his character. Kill him and then give Thor some more motivation here. Yeah, add one more.
That was like his only buddy, him and Meek, for the whole blip time after he fell against Thanos.
Yeah.
And so that would have been a big deal. Also, he was there since he escaped Sakaar and shit. So it's a lot of history there with him and Korg and Meek, and he was there helping him fight to try to reclaim Asgard before he gave it up to Surtur to beat Hela. So he's been there for big moments in Thor's life, and struggle with them emotionally. And to kill him would have been a big resonating thing emotionally. But I was glad I thought he wasn't dead. I'm like, no, Korg, funny, I love him. But I think that would have been the smarter choice to fridge him, give Thor some motivation. Because like his girlfriend's not in jeopardy necessarily. The cancer, like that's nature. You can't really do anything about that.
Yeah. Real quick in the chat, Monkey Jubas says he got fat because he ate a lot and drank a lot and stuff, and usually works off doing crazy things. But yeah, he said it adds up. I'm like, getting lazy. No, I get it, but I'm just saying it seems like they often in a lot of movies will have masculine characters be not masculine all the time now. That's where they used to be, and it's like Zeus out of all of them, like. He could have, if there was, other fat guy, that'd be one thing, but it's like, can you just have some that are just not fat as like some type of thing. It seems like it's always a joke, just always a joke, but it's not funny. So it's like, okay, another one.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
like a subtle nag on masculine. They literally talk about how like this city is like Zeus. He's like the guy who started it all. He's who I modeled myself
like
off
he was Thor's hero, and now he's just a slob. It's like that type of story is told all the time nowadays. Like Luke Skywalker, and there's just like so many. It's just another one, Kenobi, and all these ones where like these heroes are just now fat and lazy, and it's like, can you have a story where like the hero just, even if they're not as in good a shape as they used to be, not be fat and lazy a little bit, even if he's more selfish and whatever, have other traits that are negative, sure, but I would assume that he'd still have the strength level there, at least in appearance, but I don't know. And like people were talking about the orgy joke. I'm like, that's fine. It's just kind of, whatever. Just another joke that's like, yep.
I don't like the orgy joke because it's coming from Zeus and all these pussy gods that won't help, even though they, to some extent, more than just Zeus are aware of this, and they're just literally heads in the clouds, ignoring their own potential plight, and only focus on like pleasures. And it's like that associates sexual gratification with like evil, which is a very Christian trope. But that it's funny because SJWs want sexual freedom, but then they do the same shit and vilify sexuality indulgence, like,
yeah.
It's like, can you just be consistent in anything? And can you not make like sex we're gonna have sex and it's not monogamous, so it's therefore evil because an evil or cowardly guy is like, yeah, we're gonna orgy joke, and it's like, that's annoying. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's like, maybe if it was in a different timing, that would have been fine, but it's whatever. And they get out, they kill. He ends up. I did like how he threw the thing at Thor, and he just caught it, threw it back, killed him, but I was disappointed that there was no like, I am the thunder god, and I can use lightning. You are disgrace. He doesn't have to say this type of thing, but it was just, he threw it, and then he just gives it to Valkyrie. So just kind of like,
that he literally stabbed him to the chest, and then, this god is not dead.
Yeah, like, and honestly, Hercules, I kind of wish he was in the movie at all. Like, I don't count that he was in the credit for 2 seconds. Like, in some way, because I feel like in most iterations he's got some kind of beef, or he's not like chummy with Zeus and the other gods. Really, he's a little separate from them. Like, so if he comes here, it's like because his dad is dead or something, or he's like, oh my god, he got killed, but like how, and like maybe he doesn't know the full context of Thor and why he was there and whatnot. He's like, this other fucking god that I thought was pretty cool just fucking killed my dad. Like, okay, that's kind of messed up. And I don't know, something different. Again, it's one of those things where Hercules has not been in this at all. He's in it now, and now it's supposed to be, he's gonna go challenge Thor, and it's just like, it's one of those, potentials, but it's all set up now and wasn't before, and totally could have been easily enough. Anyway, so what happens after this? Even they leave this place, and then
they're using a Stormbreaker for the ship to guide it. It's a power source to go to the Shadow Realm. And Thor and Jane have a heart-to-heart. And, of course, smooch and finally come back together. But also she's got cancer. Now Thor knows it. So that's a wrench in the story.
Yeah, I was like, I want to like this part, but I don't really care either. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. And they keep on cutting back. They cut back to Korg and Valkyrie talking, and they're like talking about their stuff and whatever. I didn't really care about the conversation, not because it's gay, but it's just like, and it's just cutting back in between their stuff, and I just don't care about it. They're talking about relationships. They're talking about relationships right now, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can do that kind of stuff, but these characters are awful at relationship shit. Why is this the stuff we're talking about in the low time?
Well, we don't know about Korg.
I know he's annoying. I'm okay learning that, but it's just weird that this is where you learn that, I guess. It's like, okay.
Well, no, yeah, you learn about how he was born. We've got 2 dads. That definitely felt purposely. I wasn't aware till today reading about, I guess, all the way back to like, I want to say Planet Hulk. This is, I guess, lore of his species. Maybe it's a rewrite from previous lore if their species was already in Marvel Comics. I don't know. But it's got 15 years of precedent, apparently. But it felt in today the way they what they chose to elaborate about Korg species. This is the one thing I know about them, is that they have homosexual, not gay, not sex to make babies over a volcano.
Right.
Like, that's the one thing that they thought was important to take up screen time to educate me about Korg species. So
Yeah.
in the context of delivery, in the time that this film comes out, it felt woke. Not that the actual detail was woke. It felt the whole purpose of including this was for agenda, to get your gay points in. And it just felt out of place, even with relationship talk. I mean, they rounded out where, Korg meets a mustached rock man, and you're going to have hand-holding babies. It's like, okay.
Yeah, which on its own, that's funny. It was like I felt like that joke could have been in a different spot in the film or in a different movie. Maybe like I could easily see that being an Endgame when you first meet Thor. There, it's like, oh yeah, I'm on Tinder. There's no some type of joke with that. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I wonder if we can make babies as easily as we do with my species or something. It's like,
that
what?
would actually be funny, whether it's gay or straight, have Korg on Tinder.
Yeah, that would have been kind of funny. That would have been funny to me. Or if he was on Grindr, that would almost make more sense because he's a rock.
Grindr, rock,
There you go.
Oh my god, I gotta message, I gotta tag some gay erotic artist on Twitter and be like, can you make a Korg Grindr page just to be funny?
Oh, I guess there's another joke with the thing at the end when he has Dwayne, of which is a rock, Dwayne the Rock. I guess I'm like,
oh, I didn't pick.
I'm like, I guess that's a joke, but to me, so many of the jokes have been so lame. I just kind of was like, yeah, it's a guy named Dwayne. Why not? If they said his name was, Rocky, I wouldn't have been surprised either. It's just like, I don't know.
No, it's funny in hindsight when I find out, oh, Dwayne, rock people. But no, I just totally went over my head in that moment.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, really quick, you're talking about it'd be nice if they didn't do this to every male character now. You know what? I don't, just out of boredom, I keep seeing all these people, oh, terminalist, and my mind with you, when I see a swarm of people supporting something, and the only thing I can see from it is, oh, not woke. That usually doesn't mean it's very good.
We have Alita as our example.
Yeah. Alita is a great example of a dog shit movie that everyone in our neck of the woods was fangirling over because it's not woke, or to own the woke shit. And it's like, well, you're just supporting mediocrity. I don't want to support mediocrity just to own the libs. Daily Wire, I gave them a chance, and they made a great documentary, What is a Woman? That's funny as fuck. And they made a kick-ass 7 or 8 out of 10 film with Terror on the Prairie. So and it's not political. But generally these anti-woke, non-woke productions, whatever, it's either they gotta force politics, Christianity, or something, or vindicate their view of the world by contriving a plot to make it come out that way. But I actually watched Terminalist episode 1, and yeah, it's pretty damn good, and it gets your guy in the gutter, but he's not a sad sack little bitch. I definitely don't see this episode and think, wow, this show's going to become all about how a woman is better than him or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, that definitely does help in my overall view of what the show will be, but it's just entertaining from the get-go. You start with a Navy SEAL mission and it goes awry. It just keeps stacking with either action or plot points from that. So they definitely have got my attention after episode 1. But yeah, generally this is a problem more and more of chopping these out from a male character to make a average female character look really cool or better. I thought they handled it pretty well with Thor, but besides his simpage, which is somewhat understandable because it's his ex-girlfriend, it's his distraction, and he's only had grief stacked on his life for the last decade, so that's like his one happy moment you can think of. So, kind of makes sense. I don't fault him, and he gets followed through finally with her. But it never felt like, oh, Jane Foster Thor is better than actual Thor. So I was fine with it.
Yeah. Makes no sense, I guess. But I guess if anything, I wish that there was more, like, as if he's teaching her subtly on the battlefield a little bit. Like, you know, or maybe if, like, he's doing a move and then she sees him do something and then she tries to do that kind of move as well. So that it's like, oh, you know, I'm doing this. I know how to do this now or something. Or even with Valkyrie, I almost felt like Valkyrie, if she and Thor had enough time together in a film, she could start to be interesting, maybe. But it's always brief with her. And so nothing ever, like, adds to her. Just kind of stays the same. And it's like, all right. And they, what happens now? I just watched the movie, but I'm like blanking. They arrive at the shadow place, right? This is where they have they're captured. Yeah, they get in a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. They get trapped. And he's like, I'm getting, or she finds papers that say the Bifrost. And so she chucks the axe away, and then they get Leviathan tentacles that capture them. Weebs, I'm sure, will love this. And then, then he's talking to each of them a little bit. And he's like, oh, you're going to die? That sucks. We're not so different, you and I, though. Because your thing is supposed to help you, but it doesn't. Mine's supposed to help me, but it's going to kill me. I don't know. Again, there's moments here that I'm like, you almost have things, but it just doesn't fully go there. I was hoping there would have been like that would have been a good scene to have, like a good, these are like where these two spend more, like, Thor and the villain like really figure each other out a little bit more, but it wasn't too much of that. It's just a lot of Gore talking. Gore is talking the whole time. He's not talking with anybody. He's just talking the whole time. I'm like, that's cool, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's funny that Austin Powers is better at that than most comic movies. We're not so different, you and I. Mr. Powers.
Yeah, I don't know. The scene was fine, but I think it just little nudges could have made it better, and would have been more meaningful, maybe. Especially, like, it's weird to me. It's so glazed over how he even like knows about eternity, how he knows about the Bifrost, how the Bifrost alone is a thing that can get there, and it like who knew about this? Who knew that you could make a wish with the, like, who tells this tale in the first place? It's just like another random thing here, and I'm like, this just nothing adds up to this to me. Like, I don't know. It just seems like another random MacGuffin-y type of thing.
Yeah, I have not read many Thor comics, and the ones that I have, it's like love is not really a factor. Maybe they allude to him whoring around with different, harlots with his posse doing Viking missions in the old days. But I've never read a comic myself thus far. Film like loving people. But I read something that Taika Waititi said, something to the fact that he wanted to make a Thor that Thor fans wouldn't like, or something to that effect. That he wanted to show Thor in love. And that was like this big, like,
Well, it's like you could. You just got to do it well.
I guess I did. Like, Thor fans will hate this, and so I'm going to do it that way. It's like, what? Like, I like Taika Waititi. He did an amazing film, Jojo Rabbit, and he's done, I think, better than average work on when he's been on The Mandalorian. So he's got good grace for me for his Star Wars film. It's like, this film is adequate. It's definitely a downgrade from Ragnarok. But I still enjoyed it for the fun it is. But it's definitely like, all right, now you're on a downhill slide now with quality, but overall your track record is still positive. So I'm still looking forward to his next thing with Star Wars. But it's like, you see that, and like, of course everyone got triggered about his Padme quote Natalie Portman about having her in Star Wars. It's like, oh, I forgot about those other movies. No, he was trolling the fans. Like,
Yeah.
you are going to cry about that. You're an idiot if you actually made a big deal about that.
Yeah.
He even got Mauler. Even Mauler was crying, has panties wadded up his ass over it.
I guess so. I just, as far as, Marvel films, I just, people are like, Taika Waititi is going to be one of the ones that you can trust. And it's like, I just don't agree anymore. Like, to me, it wasn't even fun. And I'm trying to enjoy it, but it's like, characters have to do things that make sense to me. And when they don't, and the plot, and then they are shoving so many jokes in that are supposed to be funny. And I'm just like, I can't enjoy that. It's gotta have more. And then when I see so much potential in some of the scenes, then it's just, squander again. Disappointing. Like, again, like, I thought the fight on the planet was just like a normal fight. I didn't see it as that visually different or interesting, or like as if they utilized the lack of color to enhance anything.
It stood out to me. I thought it was just really beautiful. Nice little visual differentiation from the rest of Marvel. A fun little play with whatever little effect that is to do that with, like, film black and white, but like show off like a couple color bursts here. And it felt like they kind of did like certain slow mo with like just, I don't know. It felt cool. It felt like Zack Snyder, if he actually had like sense to restrain himself with this effect.
Yeah, maybe. I guess to me it's too that like they're fighting big shadow things that are just blobs, essentially, just blob things, and just, I don't know. That's so. That's like one of the most generic things you can have as enemies, and like again, if it was gods that were slain that you're fighting, at least there's something there. A little. These are just random beasts. And that's just so dumb to me, just because that's what we're watching. And it's like, yeah, you hit one of those things. Oh, they hit you back, huh? Yeah, okay. And then his fight with the guy, I don't know. Gore didn't seem to have any particular skill set. It's just he can fight with them sometimes and teleport sometimes. I was kind of disappointed. I wish there was like, is there any particular style he has? But no, it's just generic fighting. That would have been good to see, like, Jane try to fight him first, her having the least skill and get whomped, and then have like Valkyrie charge in headstrong and get whomped. And so Thor's got to kind of like do a different tactic here, a little.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I like how they split them up though, so it kind of channeled like this is the real fight between these two guys. So that was nice because I read something about like Thor has nothing to do with beating Gore, that it's mighty Thor and Valkyrie, and I'm like, oh no. But then I watched it and I'm like, oh
yeah, no, you're right. In that sense, yeah, they still had him be the main one here. Yeah,
I was fine with that. Just the shit feels messy. It feels like there might be more corporate involvement because before it's like Thor. They're probably gonna stop after the third.
Well, I heard they had like another super duper mega reshoots.
No, I have no idea. I haven't followed movie talk in a while.
so they had a film somewhat made like last year, and then restructured it a lot, and then after No Way Home, restructured it some more in post, and it's like, okay, so yeah, it was kind of put together like that. And then they go back to Earth because they were gonna leave, but then Gore got the axe from Thor, and then Valkyrie got stabbed while she was on the planet, and Jane was losing power. Yes, same here. I'm like, yay. And Jane's getting weaker, like cancer, I guess, killing her. And then Valkyrie's, she'll be fine, but she can't join the battle. Jane is in cancer mode, and Thor. I thought this was a funny bit. He's like, some idiot built a refrigerator without a door. That was funny. Like that reminds me of Thor 1. That's his type of thing. Like, somebody built a refrigerator without a door. Like that's funny to me. That's a subtle joke, not super silly. It's with this moment that's serious, kind of. That's like a character driven joke to me. Like with what he is.
His aggression.
Yes.
And distraction, like, oh, I got goodies. Like, oh, no, never mind that noise. Here's chocolate.
Yes. I like that if there was more of that type of humor in this film, I would probably have enjoyed it more and thought that it was, more enjoyable, more fun. Jokes like that. Small little jokes like that. And then he's like, yeah, if you become Thor again or whatever, then you suck.
Wait. Could you reenact how the guy next to you eating was laughing when that happened?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So when he did, well, so it wasn't just that joke. With any fucking joke, this guy was like, but then some of the jokes, the guy next to me literally was, like, he was dying. Like, he couldn't breathe. And then he's coughing because he can't fucking breathe. And the guy next to me, he was just like, he's in flip flops and shorts and a wife beater. And I know it's hot out, but it's like, dude, you stink. I can hear people breathing around me. I don't know if it's just like I'm getting older and I'm noticing this more, but I can hear more. I can hear more people breathing around me. Maybe there's more fat people around. I don't know, but I'm so annoyed. And like I said, the guy that from the beginning, like since the trailers started, he was eating the whole movie. And I check over. This is in the end of the second act, about to start the third act, and I still hear I'm like, how can you have any room in your fucking stomach now? By this point, God.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So then that was done, and I was like, yeah, thank you, fucking thank you. Let's move on. So it seemed like he's going there himself, which I forget. How did he get to the place? Because he doesn't have the Bifrost.
Well, he's got Zeus's lightning bolt.
Right. So how does Jane get there? Because they make it clear that the hammer cannot teleport you. She just kind of appears there at the end. Yeah, I thought that was a plot hole too, unless they find a way to explain it. But because they literally made it seem like nobody else can come. You are by yourself. And nope, they just power of cancer helps prevail through this, I guess. I don't know. What? Maybe
she talked to Black Kid. I don't know.
No, but they don't show it. No, he's talking to Black Kid when that happens, not the other way around. Nope.
I don't know. Maybe she was in her bed like, hey, Black Kid, can I get in your eyes?
No, he was busy fighting the shadow things, which let's get to that. So Thor arrives. He sees all the kids. He's like, oh, you grab some weapons. Let's fight. And the kid's like, we can't fight. We're kids, you dummy. And he's like, no, it's fine. First time for everything. And I was okay with him granting them the power, except for there wasn't any type of qualifier as to like why he can do this or how. Because it's like, if you have this power at all, then you could apply this. You didn't do this to Korg or to anyone else, like ever. What the fuck? Like even a limited one?
Yeah, that's a problem with all these movies, though. It's like I watch Falcon, and I don't even care about Captain America debate and diversity, ranking up characters, whatever. Falcon's fucking sucks because I already have Iron Man. Why would I watch a guy with just wings who can get shot very easily? This is stupid.
Yes.
Versus fucking Iron Man 1 can kick his ass.
Yeah, even Rhodey could kick his ass.
Falcon, yeah. His backup, his black afterthought could kick his ass.
Yes.
With War Machine.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Falcon already sucks. I don't care if you give him the shield, if you give him American flag suit now, if you juice him up with steroids finally. He's nothing compared to Iron Man. It's already cool. And it doesn't make sense because it's like, you have this tech, and yet you don't give anyone, like no one else ever ranks up their tech to match Iron Man's tech. Like, and they even go in Iron Man tech suits to go through the time portal. So everyone should have like ranked up suits now. There should be no reason that Black Widow and Hawkeye don't have like some sort of like Iron Man light suit.
I think it would have made sense if they had some of their weaponry as Iron Man stuff, but if they were to like go like have Hawkeye be like, I'm not gonna wear a fucking suit, dude. Like, I'm not a suit guy. It's he's not gonna be in that all day. He's not gonna wear a tin can, but maybe he'll take some of the other upgrades you could have with his shit. Like Iron Man upgrade each character to their skill set.
Iron man bow and arrow that shoots fucking missiles.
Yeah, it's kind of what I mean. Like even like to the Hulk, like, hey, you can't fly. Well, now you have jetpack. You can fucking fly. I don't know, something that can help with that. And the same with Black Widow, you could do that. So like with Thor, I like that being a thing that he could do, is like temporarily give children the power of Thor. That's awesome. But it's like if in any other movie, if people around him that are fighting don't have it, it's kind of like, why not?
Well, you see, I think the idea is that like he's the new All-Father, like Odin, so he can bestow powers now, and like his father.
Yeah, but it's like at the beginning of the movie or the last movie, you know, because he was pretty much All-Father Thor since Infinity War. So like, I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of how they have continuity with things. But I liked the kids having the things to fight. But I wish that there was better things for them to fight than shadow things. That's what annoyed me the most about, again, the fight. Again, it's just you're just killing dark things. Like, it would have been fun. I think it would have been a funnier battle if they had other alien creatures they were fighting or something.
Yeah, I agree. It was fun though. I saw this, I'm like, oh, kids would love this.
Like, imagine if they're fighting just like a bunch of bug things from, you know, like they almost look like the cast of Bug's Life aliens or something. They're fighting them. Like, that would be hilarious. And something you could have some alien type of things with that. I don't know. That'd be fine. And then Thor fights Gore, and the fight is mundane to me again. It's just whatever, back and forthy fight. And then they almost do some stuff in it that I was like, oh, like he grabbed the sword from, you know, killing him, and he's got electricity going out of his hands and eyes. And I'm like, okay, you're not doing the thing where you rely on your weapon. But then, yeah, that's when she shows up, and it's like, yeah, it's fine, I guess. And then they fight a little while he is failing to get his axe to stop doing the Bifrost. I don't know. It's all right. And then she shatters his sword with Mjolnir, and then she tries to have the shattered pieces of the sword fuse with Mjolnir, which was kind of an interesting idea, but then the pieces just go back to the sword, sort of. And then she does electric thing, and then it destroys it.
Yeah, well, if it is this for Mjolnir is shattered, like it's stage shattered, like when Hela blew it up, but they've like preserved the pieces for display at New Asgard. And when she gets the hammer, it like it's fused. So if you ever see the toys, her Mjolnir hammer is all like kind of like Kylo.
Yeah, well, that's fine with me. That's fine. I'm just saying.
Well, I just explained to people who haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
It's cool. I think it's a cool little detail to differentiate.
Yeah, I like that they differentiate it.
Splintered, and she can like not only wield Mjolnir fused by force or whatever, but she can choose to like throw Mjolnir and it shatters into pieces and it's like space debris shooting through you, and then she can like fuse it back. So when she breaks the Necro sword, it breaks the pieces, but then Gore gets the handle and it's like it's going to fuse back together. But she like does the splinter effect, catches all of them, and she reforms it in her hand, and then lightnings it and destroys the Necro sword. So that's kind of cool sequence there. Yeah, but before she did, she did this like woman splaining where it's like,
don't call me lady.
He says like a Thor lady or something like that, and she's like, it's not Thor lady, it's Mighty Thor or Dr. Jane Foster. It's like General Leia. They really got to hammer masculine titles for these bitches. Then she says some other third thing. She's like, eat my hammer, which is like, okay. She's finally found the moment to like, I'm going to be cool with my catchphrase. And it's like,
See, that's when it would have been funny if like that's when she gets knocked down or her power goes away or the like Mjolnir drops going, you're not worthy. Mjolnir goes, you're not worthy anymore. You suck. That was lame. That was lame.
Kills her right then, like uneventfully. It's just
that, or if the hammer found her unworthy after those lines, like, ew, no, not anymore.
Hammer's like, oh my god, cringe.
Yes, that would have been funny. Like that would have been funny to me, especially since it's not a serious moment, but they're treating it like it's serious, and it's like, no, this would be funny here. Then what's his face crawls through the thing because it's open now, and then they teleport to water clouds or something, and there's an infinity dude standing there, eternity or whatever, sitting there like a monk. I'm like, okay, cool. And then he's like, hey, you suck, man. And he's like, no, you suck. And he's like, now you want love. It's like, okay, I do. All right. And then she's like, yeah, if you can bring her back.
See,
It's just like, okay, here we are, I guess.
I hate this redemption shit that Disney likes to do, where it's like, the more I think, I was kind of fine with it before because it's like multiverse what if story, but it's kind of like the whole Thanos, where it's like, well, wait, they've not changed, Black Panther being Star-Lord, that story, and Thanos is part of his crew, and it's like he's convinced Thanos not to destroy half the world, so he never does the Infinity Gauntlet story, and he's a good guy now. And it's like, wait, but that doesn't change his whole backstory of why he believed this in the first place. His own people died not doing what he offered to do, and so he has all the validation to do it. And Gore has spent his whole life since his daughter died killing gods, serving poetic justice on them and liberating all their worshippers. And just out of nowhere, one god's like, you don't gotta do this, man, you just need love. And it's like, oh, you know what, my whole life's work was stupid, silly me. Okay. And it's like, there's no, like, Thor doesn't even save anybody with like whatever could have happened with Gore and his wish. It's literally Gore just like, oh yeah, I guess I won't do that. It's like,
yeah,
like, which would be fine if Gore and Thor had this final fight and Thor gets bested, and it's like, oh, I can't beat him, and it's like, oh, only the power of love can, or something.
Or even if like one of the kids or Axel or whatever, like was trying to stop Gore, and he could kill the kid, but it's like, fuck, I can't kill the kid, and you don't need to show his daughter in his place. We could understand what he's going through. Kenobi, take notes. With it's like if you were to have like one of the kids or have all the kids try to get in front of Thor and him, and it's like, what am I just gonna kill all these kids? Like, I can't, just because they have the powers of gods or the people of gods, like, are they, should I, like, he'd go, okay, maybe I'm kind of dumb with this idea here. I don't know, it's the maybe even I would have been fine if Gore even lived, but like he would use the sword, like I said before, like in a way to measure gods rather than just kill them all. Like humble gods like Zeus. Like you fucking
do like God of War 3, and he takes the sword and stabs himself with it and undoes everything.
Yeah, something like that.
Not undoes like, oh, all the gods are just alive again, but like undoes like, oh, the curse and the sword's open to take a new body. Like, killing himself with fuck the sword.
Right, it becomes a more noble weapon than a cursed weapon or something. Yeah, like I feel like there could have been more with all that instead of, and I hated that its motivation was just, I want to kill the gods because they let me down. Just want to kill them. That's it. I don't know. It's just,
it's shallow. It's understandable. It's very shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, this is why I like shit like Harley Quinn movie, even though it's got woke problems, the whole male gaze crap, blah blah blah. It's like they're still taking risks at DC, even with all their shit stuff. There's a whole range of filmmakers there that have styles and whatnot, and it's like if they could just like get one guy focused like on the through line story, whether it's James Gunn or whoever, and get that one guy to be their Kevin Feige for the storyline, and just let the creators make styles they want. Especially
since this is, how many movies into this phase are we into right now? Like God, 6.
Yeah, we're almost done with phase 4.
What has happened in it that is any connective through line tissue at all?
Nothing now.
Like this is also Thor's 4th movie. Presumably there might be more in the future, and this didn't set up anything.
Let's set up Hercules being angry.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, that little detail. Whoops.
Which again, Hercules is usually a more he's simple, but he has more to him than I am son of the gods. My dad is dead. I will go avenge him. That's not usually his type of story. Come on.
Zeus is alive and sending him to do this.
Oh, you're right. He's not even fucking dead. That's even dumber. That's even dumber. If anything, Hercules should be like, "You got what you fucking deserve, Dad. You lazy turd." Like that'd be something, Like,
yeah. Well, it's funny because I saw something like, I think besides Spider-Man, all of the MCU stuff of this phase has come out at like a B score for the cinema score.
Jesus.
And the first week is like always. Your first week is like all the people that want to go see the movies.
Yeah, they're waiting to cum for it no matter what's on screen, right?
Yeah, so when you're getting a low score on the opening week for a film people are anticipating, and you're so established
in a big franchise,
it's like more and more show. And I've seen it like they're not going to make what they thought they would for the opening week, even though it's a big number still. So it's like slowly but surely this shit's fucking dying, and I don't want Marvel to die. I want them to have competition. The Boys is amazing, Invincible is amazing, but it's so mature. They've already cut out so many people from ever watching it. Currently,
there needs to be a stepping stone franchise that could get them into those movies when they're old enough.
So it'd be cool is if there was something like The Boys, or DC could do this, and they kind of have it, but they keep pussyfooting around it. Like, make Batman and whatever movies, they're all like PG-13. You get your like team up film, and then like the next phase you do like a rated R villain story tied into a character, or a rated R hero story. Or you tell like a Marvel Max type story. And you want to hit all ranges of it. Like, the problem is they want every film to hit every demographic, instead of like, well, this guy really works for this demographic of age and tone. If you want to do some pussy shit like what they try to do with Harley Quinn and completely undercut the whole reason Harley Quinn was a selling point.
Yeah.
She's fucking zany, crazy, sexy chick. Guys want to see her in booty shorts, and they undercut that. And say, we're not going to serve the male gaze.
Yeah.
Didn't serve the male box office either.
But it's funny too, if they have lesbians in their movies, then you'd be selling to them if you had some
like $1 billion, $2 billion. That would be like the biggest thing ever. You got a Bat Family lesbian. Oh my god, just have her, just have like erotic, steamy moments with her and like Batgirl and Huntress. You'd make so much easy money.
I was even
preach to people.
I was even referring to in this movie. It's like they were in fucking Greek land, and Valkyrie's a lesbo. Well, I was gonna say, and they made him naked. I mean, you almost could have had some type of lesbo moment, but again, got to be short enough to cut out if you need to.
Yeah, they could have did to her like they did Alba in Fantastic Four, where the whole like, you're naked, like we all covered titties, but we know what's working under there.
Yeah, and that was another funny thing actually. Like when they covered him up again with clothes, the women looked all disappointed. They're like, get that back off. Yeah, that was funny. It was like, yeah, their disappointment because they wanted to look at the peen, and there you go. But I don't really have much more to say about this.
You know what we should do? We should do like Grace Randolph if we do reviews. And be like, oh, it was so great. There was just like a breeze of heterosexuality in this movie. It was so good to see representation for straight people in a film. Like,
just a moment. And Valkyrie was like, oh, you were humiliated over there. He's like, no, I was naked. I wouldn't say humiliated. He's just like proud of his nudity. It's like, yep.
Yeah, like of course, like, yeah, that was awesome. Bro.
And I like too how he was able to break free from Zeus's things easily. He's just like, yeah, I don't need help here. Really, I'm strong. So, hooray! But then what happens? Jane's dead. Oh, Eternity. So Gore's daughter comes back as like a spawn of Eternity. I don't get how that works, but. All right, another huge, powerful beings in the game now. And then at the end, I assume you'll think it's adorable with the things with that. I mean, which were fine. Thor being a dad to a little girl and stuff, and the RV.
Yeah, no, that was cute.
Yeah,
that was cute. But
that's
it
fine.
felt like, oh, of course, this like god of a man, even if it's steroids, like his physique is enviable of the most fit guys in the world. It's like, Jesus Christ, the definition. But whatever CGI, whatever's not, still a lot of work under there. And you get this like macho man, Viking god. And then it's like, oh, where's your boots, sweetie? Listen to daddy or Uncle Thor eat your pancakeys. Like, oh, God. Like,
I thought it was...
just like a boy and be a fucking man, It's stuff like that where it's like, it's cute. And, yeah, daughters do, test your, what normally you'd be trying to be macho or stoic, but a girl can, like, really get under your skin. In the like pleasant ways of like undermining your frame to the rest of the world, but it's like they only go one way. Is my point. Like you never, even if it was Jane Foster that lived, it would be the girl, and she'd be mommy to a girl and be cutesy.
Like what if
you're a boy and let's do these boy stuff and be trying to make him a fucking train.
Like how come he wasn't looking after Axel or something like.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's a good point.
They had Sif. I'm surprised they had Sif alive. I'm glad she's alive. She is a character that is okay, but they don't ever do enough with her to make her interesting. So she just seemed one note, but she's training.
The problem with Thor 4, there's nothing about Loki in this, and like what they're
no, other than his he died again and again and again. That's the only thing with Loki.
It's like why did I watch Loki? And then I go see Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, and there's fucking nothing about Loki. And then I go see Thor 4, and there's fucking nothing about Loki.
I feel like
like
this whole phase should have started with like No Way Home, and then Multiverse of Madness or something, and then like that like sets off a lot of things for the next events, and maybe even that could have been some type of thing with the Necro crap, like. Something just there's no connectivity at all. How can the multiverse thing be like an isolated event? Like what the fuck? Like that's weird.
Yeah, this shit's so fucking annoying to me because I want it to make sense and I want my investment to pay off. And now it's completely what people are fictitiously crying about. Like, oh, it's just cash grab. It's product. It's like no. Before Endgame, there was not next product. It's like they're leading us to a new plane of existence for theater going with like this event building up. And now it's like they're on top and no one's challenging them. So
they're kind of like Marvel is kind of like Thor. They don't know where they are right now. They're trying to find themselves. They've been doing this for a while. They've had some good moments. Now they're kind of screwing up here and there. And it's just they're like Thor now. Marvel is Thor.
That'd be a great deep dive. It's like Thor 4 is brilliant because it is unknowingly a character study about the Marvel Studios.
Yep, and him loving Jane is like how like we all loved Phase 1 and 2 and stuff. Like you guys had potential. We liked you back then. And then there's like a bunch of years in between that weren't all that great with all that and. It's just like just this movie is just a representation of Marvel's timeline. They started out rocky, a little rookie, a little novice at first, but they had some strong. They're going strong, and it was all good. And then they lost their way here and there, and they reached the end game and then jumped off a cliff. But I got nothing more to say about it.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of tapped out on anything I can think of.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate that. Let us know what you guys think in the comments and stuff. See you later.